Hey guys, what's up? Today's makeup look is that Kimmy K look that you guys absolutely loved on Snapchat and Instagram and that has been highly requested. I have absolutely been loving this look as well. I learnt a few tricks and tips off Rae Morris at the Priceline Beauty School event, and she is absolutely amazing and obviously knows what she's talking about, and boy has it changed my life. Like, her tips have been so helpful and they're just amazing. So I'm going to share some of them with you today. As you can see, I already do have my base done, so I have foundation on. For foundation, I have on the Fit Me Dewy and Smooth by Maybelline. For my brows, I'm wearing Ka-Brow, and my brows are looking extra on fleek today because I recently had them done by Hannah. She is Benefit's national brow artist, and she does my brows, and she's amazing, and I actually just posted a video with her, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave that in the description as well. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. We are just focusing on the eye, and it's going to be a talk through. I'm not going to be doing a voiceover for this video. I'm going to talk you through it as I go, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all goes well, because I am not very good at talk throughs. I'm very chitty chatty and I completely lose direction of what I'm supposed to be talking about, and then I just end up talking about what I did 5 years ago at Christmas. I don't know. Let's just start. So for this look today, I'm going to be using the Morphe 35O palette. If you do not own this palette, don't worry about it. Basically, we're only going to be using 3 shades, 3 different eyeshadows. The 3 eyeshadows that I am going to be using are warm brown tones, which is what this palette is all about. But if you're not into warm browns, you can totally use cool tones, or you can use basically whatever you want. Do green, pink, whatever you like, blue, whatever floats your boat. Grab those colors, but you're basically just going to need 3 eyeshadows, one that's quite light, one that's medium, and one that's dark. That's all you're going to need if you're using this tutorial for the technique that I learnt from Rae Morris. But if you're using this tutorial to get that Kimmy K look, then definitely make sure that you've got some warm browns, a black or something close to a black, but yeah, warm browns, perfect. Okay, so let's begin. I'm gonna zoom you in. So I have an eyeshadow base on at the moment. I've just gone over it with a translucent powder just to set it. But now I'm gonna go in with the Morphe 35O palette. To start things off, I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, and I'm taking this shade on a Sigma E55 brush. And the interesting thing about this eyeshadow technique is that we're actually gonna start on the bottom lash line. This is something you would typically do last, but for today's tutorial, we're actually going to do it first. And the reason is because we want to keep this lower lash line as straight as possible. If you did your top eyeshadow first, you'd probably follow the crease and bring it down, and then you would follow your bottom eyeshadow up to meet where you left off the top eyeshadow. But that's not what we want to do for this eye look. We want to keep it really elongated and straight, so we want to kind of follow the line of the brow there. So keeping it straight as possible, you're basically just going to flick it out towards the brow. You don't want the product to be too heavy on this outer bit. You kind of want to focus the product on the lower lash line, but then flick it out towards the tail of the brow, and you should be left with something a little like this. This is going to be a great template for when you do your top eyeshadow, because then you can bring the top eyeshadow to meet the bottom eyeshadow out here. When I first tried this look, I was a little bit scared of the fact that the eyeshadow is so far away from my eye, but it actually comes together really nicely, and it does achieve quite a beautiful Egyptian type looking eye, which is what Kimmy K is all about. So I'm just gonna deepen that up a little bit more, flicking it out and keeping that quite straight. Taking that same eyeshadow shade, except this time I have it on a Morphe brush. I'm just going to pat that onto the lid, keeping it focused on this outer third of the eye. And again, always flicking your brush towards the tail of your eyebrow. So now we're going to create a faux crease. This is where it's amazing for people with hooded eyes like myself. Basically what you want to do is look straight ahead, and while you're looking straight ahead, you want to create that faux crease. So while I'm looking straight ahead, I'm just going to pop the eyeshadow on top of the crease of my eye, creating the illusion that my crease is a little bit higher. And exactly the same way that we kept this line straight, we want to keep this line straight. And I like to stop about here because that's where the fold of my eye is the most prominent. So that's where I'm going to stop because I don't want to add more drama to that area. So we're just going to stop about here. And again, just flicking it out as you go. So now taking another Morphe brush. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of these brushes. They came in a set, but I will link that set below. So taking this Morphe brush, I'm going to go in with this darker brown down here. And what we're going to do with this is basically just pat it onto the lid and the outer third of the eye. You don't want to take it too far in, just keep it quite low. It doesn't matter if this gets messy because we're going to blend it out anyway, but just do your very best to keep it on this outer third of the eye and don't take it too far in. And then you also want to run some on the lower lash line and keeping that line as straight as possible. And then taking that first Morphe brush that I was using and we're going to blend that out, flicking towards the tail of the brow. So you definitely don't want this area out here to be too dark, you kind of just want it to fade out. But if you have gotten a little bit too dark or the line isn't too straight or not as straight as you want, that's fine. We're going to fix it a little bit later, so you can definitely fix that in the later steps. The main thing is that everything is blended really nicely. And finally, taking that Sigma E55 brush again, I'm going to take this darkest shade of the whole palette and this is going to go underneath the eye. So this is going to go on the lash lines. You want to run it as close to the lash line as possible. It's just really going to make your lashes stand out. It'll be just easier to hide the lash band later when we do apply lashes. And again, you don't want to round that area out too much, so always just flicking towards the tail of your brow. Okay, so basically now we have this part to worry about. So I'm literally just going to take the first brown that we worked with in the beginning and just pat it on to the lid there. Okay, so I'm going to go and do the other eye and then I'll come back and we can finish the look. Okay, so now that I have both eyes done, I'm going to go in with some mascara. I'm going to be using the White Night Mascara today by Poni Cosmetics. This is one of my absolute favorite mascaras because when you wash it off, it doesn't go panderize. And so these lashes are the Model Rock Kit Ready 5 to 7 lashes. Does anyone else's nose run when they put fake lashes on? My nose always starts running. I'm like, ah! Okay, so now that I have my lashes on, you can really see how this elongates the eye. The eyeshadow's really blown out and it kind of gives you a little mini eye lift as well. It really lifts the eye instead of dragging it down. If the eyeshadow is really round, it's kind of going to droop your eye. This really blows it out and makes it really dramatic and gives that eye that pop and that lift. You can also see the eyeshadow come out when you're straight on or on the side. So now while I'm waiting for my lashes to dry and before we do the rest of the face, here's a little tip. If you do look at your eyeshadow and it's not quite as straight as you want it to be, not that line at the beginning wasn't dead straight, what you want to do is take some translucent powder. This is the Mercier translucent powder. And a flat brush. So here I just have a Poni Cosmetics brush and I've dipped it into that powder, and now what you want to do is just kind of run that along, and what that's going to do is it's really going to clean up that line, and you don't want to keep it there for too long, so I'm just going to dust that away now. So that's going to really sharpen up that line if you had any concerns with it or it wasn't as straight as you wanted. It's just a quick, easy fix. Now for the rest of the face, I'm going to go in with my Hoola bronzer by Benefit and take this Morphe brush and basically just going to contour / bronze. I like to also do my temples and forehead. To highlight, I'm going to be using the That Glow Kit by Anastasia. So basically I'm going to go in with all of these shades. I really like to just dip around. I don't really use this dark one too much. It's a little too dark for my skin tone, but these ones are all good. This brush is the Shimmer Tulip brush by XO Beauty. I'm also going to highlight the inner corner of my eyes with MAC Nylon. And for this I'm going to be taking the Artiste Professional brush by Manicare, and this is the Blending Crease brush. Also going to take a little bit on my brow bone. Going back into the Anastasia palette, I'm just going to grab a little bit of the Starburst shade and run it down my nose. And then for lips, I think it's only appropriate, since this is a Kimmy K type look, to be using Pure Hollywood by Anastasia, because Kim K is definitely Queen of Hollywood. Okay guys, so that is it. This is how I get my Kimmy K type inspired look, I guess you would say, using the tips that I learnt from Rae Morris. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I think it would be great for those of you with hooded eyes, or any of you that just want to really open your eyes and make them look more lifted. If you recreate this look, definitely tag me, Snapchat me while you're doing it. I don't know, like just fun things like that. I love chatting with you guys. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. I would muchly appreciate that. Is that even a word? I would appreciate it so much. So have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in my next video, if not sooner. Bye. My god, I'm so popular, someone's calling me. This never happens. Hello?